Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to episode 193, special edition of the RGT podcast. I'm here with a very awesome friend of mine. We got history, but we also got a lot to recap for this woman's awesome career, and that's what we're going to have to get into for this interview. I know a lot of you got questions like crazy. I've been getting nonstop messages. Yo, can you ask her this? Can we go about this? Well, we'll get there eventually when we get there. Right now, we are doing other stuff. We're actually going to talk about one particular field that I'm very interested to hear about, and I think a lot of you should really pay attention to. It's a really cool, awesome field, and that's VFX. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you guys to my good friend, all the way from, she's all the way from companies like Playful, Gearbox, recently Sony Santa Monica, and now she has joined the fray of Activision Blizzard. She is a VFX artist celebrating her 5th anniversary in this awesome industry. And I must say, I'm one proud dude to call her friend. Ladies and gentlemen, meet my awesome guest, Rachel. How you doing, Rachel?
What's up, man? Super happy to be here. Talk about being a game developer. It's been a minute since I've been on here.
Yeah.
But I have a whole spiel ready for you. So what I want to talk about first, I don't know if you had an agenda for this, but
I got a few things on the side, but no.
So what I want to talk about basically is how I became a game developer and how I started, because there isn't one manual.
I got it all here. You good? I got it all here. Shout out to the chat. What's up, Jerry, Breyer, Corey, Liger? What's going on? Ice Queen, Cassie, what's going on? I see you. What's up? Cryptopsy. Oh, Cryptopsy finally shows up. The ghost who walks finally shows up in my chat. Wow. I shout this, Cryptopsy. What's up, dude? Let's go ahead and start this show. So, Rachel, why don't you tell us about Rachel? What got you into this awesome industry? What led you to take that chance into VFX?
So, I was actually, when I went to started going to college, when I was deciding what I wanted to do for a living as a lost 18-year-old, I actually went into graphic design and fashion design first, and I decided I didn't like those things, or they were just oversaturated, or they just didn't trigger that spark in my heart.
I got you, yeah.
But I landed on game development after I took a tour of Gearbox software when I was 19 years old. And I remember just walking around and being really lost as to what this job, what a game developer would be, or what they would do, or that people make games for a living. And I saw a guy drawing on this big tablet, and I saw another guy designing, or not, he was working on a vehicle or something, and then he would drop it in the level and drive it around and then start over if something.
The drag and drop. Okay.
It was very cool.
Nice.
So when I started, I didn't realize, or when I went into like be like, where do I start? Like what do I do to start this journey? I didn't know what I wanted to do specifically, like in game dev. So I knew it wasn't going to be programming because I'm more of an artist.
Right.
I still have a tech mind, but I wanted to do art. I didn't realize that there's like 30 plus focuses in art. So there's like environment art and modeling and
Yeah.
character art and like lighting and visual effects and etc. It goes on and on and on. So um, I found a program at my local college, and I'll detail later on like what other people can do instead of that, because not everyone lives
Yeah.
next to very convenient college with
That's
low
true, yeah.
tuition. But I found that one of my local colleges had a program to get me started, and I basically like took these like intro to game development classes, and like I took one animation class and one tech class, and decided like what I wanted to do through there. And I didn't actually graduate. I don't have a degree. So I got a contract at Playful before I could even get halfway through my education, and just because I got work in the industry, I decided not to continue with school.
Oh,
But
okay.
that is the first explanation, first leg of the journey there. Um, but essentially, was a I was a contractor. So I did there's two, sometimes three types of employment in the game industry. There's contracting,
Right.
full time, and then I don't know why I
I
said there was
guess
three.
part-time. Oh, part-time? No, no part.
Sure, part
There
time.
you go.
Internship.
I figured
Internship.
it was contract when you announced that you were going, leaving Sony Santa Monica. I was like, oh, okay, so maybe it was contractual
Yeah.
type thing.
So like in the last 5 years that I've worked, I've probably been fully employed for maybe 3 or 4 months, maybe 5 months of the entire time. Like I
Oh,
otherwise
wow.
have been a contractor. And that's kind of a struggle that happens in the game industry right now.
Hmm.
Um, in some ways, I think it works. Like when a project starts up, or when it starts to build up and needs more hands-on tech. Companies will hire contractors for the project for like a year or less or more, however long they need them. Um, and then once the project's done, they're like, okay, bye, your contract's over, and then
Yeah.
you don't have a job anymore. It's scary. And sometimes I would have a contract, and even like the first week of my contract, I would still be looking for other jobs after the contract, like before it's
Before it's
even,
even over. Yeah.
yeah, constantly. It
Yeah.
was
Future
it was
proofing.
really stressful.
Yeah. I see. I
Um,
see.
but yeah, after my contract, so let's go back to Playful. When I was working at Playful, I was an intern, and then I moved up to contractor, and I got more hours per week,
Yeah,
and
and
I
I like
got
the
raises
super lucky
along the
still.
way. Yeah, and I think after like a year, they ended up offering me a full-time job, and I don't know the details of what happened, but 4 months later, I was laid off with like three other people, and that's also something that happens in the industry quite a bit. It's
Mm.
almost like a joke that you're not really a game developer unless you've been laid off from at least one job. So I've been laid off.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh
Okay.
yeah. I don't know what studio it was recently, but the there was a recent layoff. Usually there's like one every I hate saying this. It's like there's one every season, or once, twice a year. I mean, the biggest one that people remember is the Telltale games. When they did their
Yeah.
massive,
Yeah.
huge overnight layoff, and it was a similar situation to when Playful laid off everybody, which was a year after I was laid off, which is crazy. They laid off almost their entire staff as well. But that
Mm.
time, I was over at Gearbox, and I was also on contract over there. Um, and I guess at this point, I'm just giving you my history. But I was there for a year and a half. Great people over there, wonderful studio. Um, and after my contract ended for the last time, I decided I'm really tired of being on contract and I need to find a focus. So, what I was doing when I was working on contract with Playful and Gearbox was basically like generalist 3D art. So, whatever anyone needed from me or they needed help with, they would be like, hey, throw her on this team so they can get like their benchmarks or their goals finished.
Yeah.
And I didn't have, so I would like work with the character team and work with the level art team. And I wasn't ever like a member of the team. I was just a contractor that would support them. So when my contract ended at Gearbox, I decided I needed to find focus. And I actually asked around lots and lots of developers that I've worked with or people who have mentored me in the past. And essentially I was like, what does the game industry need? Like what do they need more of, and there aren't enough people to hire for? And there's several of those things, which I'll get again onto later. But I landed on visual effects because it's still art. It's like more tech, but still art.
Yeah.
And within a year, I had signed a contract with Santa Monica Studio. And after a year with them, I just accepted an offer with Blizzard, and that's been fantastic.
That's what's up,
But
see?
yeah. So I wrote up this document to discuss how, like, if somebody wants to become a game developer, how do they do that?
Yeah, that was actually one of the questions. So
Yeah.
that's good.
I mean, that's why I'm
yeah.
here. How do you start? Okay, so you don't need to find a specific school or a program or whatever. It doesn't have to be a formal education. There are tons and tons and tons of resources on the internet. I mean, YouTube University is literally like also another ongoing joke of, I mean, in any way. Not a joke, kind of like yeah, you can learn these trades straight from YouTube from other professionals.
Yeah.
And I have one video. I have like one little tutorial video on my YouTube, but
yeah, you never plugged that video. I was like, okay, I'm seeing her throw projectiles. She never plugs this video. Like, where's the attention for this video? I'm just saying.
I meant to do more, but I just like work got crazy when I started working on
or just
Ragnarok.
Do the hammer call from God of War. You know what he calls,
Right.
or the axe call, that live Leviathan, that where the sparks come off the ice comes off the axe. Why don't you do that? I always do.
Right? I should. Well, there are like hundreds, if not thousands, of online courses and tutorials that you can take literally on, I wouldn't say anywhere, on YouTube. You can, I think there's like a program, there's a website called CG Spectrum, and I will share links and stuff after the show of resources you guys can use. But the first thing you should do if you want to be a game developer is download a game engine. And there are two that are really awesome and have great support for people who are aspiring game developers. So if you literally have a computer and an internet connection, you can make a game with one of these game engines. So Unreal Engine is one of them.
Yep.
And that's the one I have the most experience with. I also worked in the game engine Unity, but both of them are free. So you can literally go to the website, download the engine, and then they will both have built-in tutorials in the engines. Unreal's is great. Almost said Unreal's is Unreal. But their website as well is full of tutorials, and I think I remember one of my projects in school was to like go to the Unity website and learn how to build like a little third-person shooter game just from videos. And it taught me a little bit of coding too, which still don't know that much. But again, you don't have to learn coding. Not again. You also don't have to learn coding to be a game developer, because I've barely learned any. I can navigate some software, pretty crazy, but
Yeah.
not a great programmer.
I remember I caught one of your live streams. I think it was for Returnal. You were like mimicking the sound of it. You were like trying to create it, if I remember correctly.
I was trying to recreate it's like a barrier wall.
Yeah.
So that like you have to use the sword to break the wall. And I really liked the effect, like the material effect on the wall with like the wavy lines and stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah,
remember
I
you
was trying to
doing
redo that. And then my whole social life and all of my Twitch plans just went off the rails when I started working for Santa Monica.
You telling me that's what happened with the YouTube when I started the IGN thing. So I was like, sometimes you got to put stuff on hold.
Oh yeah. Well, besides that, if you're like, okay, so let's say you want to be a game developer, you downloaded the engine, you watched all of the videos, you've made a little miniature game. That's amazing. Get to that point, and from that point, ask yourself what you want to do specifically, because in smaller studios, you'd probably do more stuff like when I was at Playful, because it was a small studio. I was an environment artist, and I worked in lighting, and I worked in character art, but now I work for a big studio, so I'm only doing effects. Um, not most, but in general, it's easier to get a job if you have a focus rather
Yeah.
than being a jack of all trades. It helps to be a jack of all trades, but it won't get you a job
Won't get you every
necessarily right out
single.
of the gate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So from there, so like there are 4 like main categories of game development, and they break off into tons and tons of subcategories of game development. But there's art, which I live in, programming, design, and production. And production are not necessarily people who like work in the game engine. They like manage the project and make sure everybody's doing their job,
Yeah.
staying on schedule, and making sure that like the scope of the project is going to be like the project's going to be on time. That's what
Right.
that's what the producers do. um Programming and design and art, though, those things can really overlap. So deciding like if you want to be in art, in programming, or design, production is a huge that will point you in the right direction. And from there, actually, I would say gets a little more difficult unless you're doing art, because art is the only path that I've chosen.
Yeah.
However,
So
I
you're
have
more comfortable like the environment, like design slash art versus, I guess,
like visuals.
yeah,
Yeah.
visuals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I still do a lot of technical things. Like I can make materials and textures and stuff with math. Like
Right.
I don't have to draw them. I can, but I can manipulate like math nodes to make carpet.
Yeah, you're a student of Arvin Villapando.
Yes.
Good guy.
He
Good
was
guy.
one of my teachers, actually. I don't know if we clarified that. He
Yeah,
was
yeah.
one of
It's one
my
of your teachers.
professors at my school, and I learned 3D modeling from him. And I have a hilarious story about about that. So, in the program I was working in, or the program at Richland College,
Hmm.
there's usually for each like focus, like there's modeling class or visual effects class or animation. There's like a animation 1 and animation 2, or modeling 1 and 2. And I wanted to be like a 3D prop modeler or an environment artist when I started in game dev.
Hmm.
And so I took Arvin's 2 modeling classes, and then I took his modeling 2 a second time, but I didn't sign up for it. I just showed up.
Right.
I just showed up to the class, and they had free computers. Like I wasn't taking someone else's desk
Right.
space
Right.
that
Right.
class. He had open spots, but I showed up to class, and he didn't know that I wasn't even enrolled. That I wasn't enrolled until the last day, when he was like, "Hey, it's time to turn in your final project." And I was like, "Well, it's not done, but I'll like email it to you in a week or so." And he's like, "That's great and all, but I need to grade it." I was like, "You can't. Yeah, I'm not in your grade book." He's like, "Well," he was crazy.
Oh
But yeah,
man.
that's how much I wanted to be a game developer. I went to a class that I didn't even have to go to and didn't get credit for, so I could learn.
Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Passion can get you very, very far. That is awesome. Um.
That program also, just so I can throw it out there for you,
Okay.
it's Dallas College Richland campus, and I can think they can do almost all of their classes online. So even if you like don't live in Texas, you can sign up for these classes and take them on your computer.
Wow. Okay. How would you describe the process of through the program? Is it tough? Would you say it's more easy to learn?
I will be totally level with you. It just depends. When I started, it was difficult for me, mostly because I had never done anything
Right.
like this
There's new.
before. Had never worked with computers. I love computers and I love
Yeah.
playing video games, but I've never built something on my computer with software. And on top of that, just because I felt like it was so complicated that I got really stressed out and depressed, and if I like missed class, I would just not go to the next class because I'd be like, well, I already messed up once. Like, I missed one class, I'm gonna be so lost. And I actually ended up taking intro to game development 3 times. I failed it twice.
Wow.
I think mostly because I just stopped showing up.
Mm.
But it was hard, and I got on top of my mental health, and I um, was good to myself, and then I like reapproached being a game developer, and yeah, it was hard. My school GPA was like a 2.8, I think.
Oh
Like
wow.
I showed up and I did the work. Um, but it was rough, and I got through it. But I got through it because I love it, and
Yeah.
I want to do it so
You're willing
badly.
to
And
learn. Yeah.
I want to make games, and I want to make magical experiences for people like the way that I had when I was a kid, and I played like Pokemon like in the under my blanket at like 10 o'clock at night with my little worm light that was broken.
Yeah, it might be some foreshadowing. We might see you work on a Pokemon game
It'd be
down
so cool.
the
I
road.
think one of my like dreams is to work on a Nintendo game, and I want to be picky about it. Like I don't want to work Metroid's cool. I don't want to work on Metroid. I would love to work on like a Zelda game, which it would never happen. I would have to move to Japan and learn Japanese, and
Ah,
that
see.
seems really out there for me, but I still hold on to that. It would be cool to work on a Nintendo game.
It's funny. That was actually one of my side questions bonus. I was like, "What would be your dream game to work on?" You said Pokemon, so and Zelda. So
Oh yeah.
you guys
I
go.
have a tattoo. I don't know if you can see it.
Mhm.
It's white. It's a white tattoo. Trying to move my lamp. I can send a picture later, but it's the Triforce.
Oh, I see it. It's like faded. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's nice.
I got a white ink tattoo because I was like, I don't want it to be like up in everybody's face.
Look at that. Oh God. Let's see here. So you answered the first part about this, like what motivated you.
Mhm.
Now, if you had the opportunity to start all over and you knew the outcome, would you do it all over again? But let's say take different steps and to get there.
Yes. Yes and no.
Listen,
I
no.
mean, there were so many ways to learn how to become a game developer. I think what I would change is addressing my own mental health first before I decided to
Get
like
in the field.
embark on this huge career journey.
Right.
I feel like it slowed me down. I mean, it did. My poor mental health did slow me down. I'm also a big mental health advocate, if that's not obvious, but um, I was in school at Richland part-time for like 10 years because I took my time because I was also supporting myself. Like I would work full time, go to school part time, and I would pay for like all my bills and my tuition. And I feel like if I had stopped and reassessed and been like, okay, what part of this is bad for me and what part of this is good for me, like working too much or um, just the like I didn't manage my stress very well, and that affected how long it took me to get here. But at the same time, like if it takes you 10 years to become a doctor,
Yeah.
like 10 years from now, you're still going to be 10 years older, but you'll be a doctor. So
Yeah.
just do it. But so it doesn't matter how long it takes. But if I could do it over again, I would definitely manage my stress and my mental health better so that I could learn more in the same amount of time.
Would you say the workload is like huge when you work on AAA games versus like indies with VFX?
Yes and no.
Yes or no?
Um
The style, I guess, maybe
it
of the game.
depends on what phase of the project you're in.
Ah, okay.
So if it's the beginning phase, which is kind of what I'm experiencing right now at Blizzard,
Right, right, right.
um, it's it's something new. So like if it's a new project, we're still figuring out
Right, it's
the
like a
art
toss up.
style,
Right.
trying to figure out like what the story is about, what you're trying to outline your boundaries before you explode and start working. Towards the end of a project, and especially on AAA, yes, it's a lot. It was very intense, and I will admit I worked a lot of overtime, but it was all overtime that I chose to do. I was like, I'm gonna put in the extra time. because I felt like it needed it. But yeah, I would say
Okay.
so. I actually, when I worked on Super Lucky's Tale at Playful, which I'm sure is, I feel like that feels like ancient history now. It's the first game I worked on. Um, when I started working, it kind of felt like we were in the middle, and then but we were really at the end of the project,
Hmm.
and there was pressure, but it wasn't like working on Ragnarok.
Ah, okay.
That was big, and or working on Borderlands. Like it was just that you gotta hit those deadlines. There's money on the line,
That's true. Yeah. I can
money
see how,
and
yeah.
partnerships and whatever business side of game development is like. I have no idea.
Yeah, I can only imagine. And a lot of people talk about crunch. I remember you brought that up too. A lot of developers crunch when it comes to the industry, like how much time they put into these games. A lot of
Again,
people.
again, it depends. It depends on if the studio allows it, because
Ah,
sometimes
okay.
they don't. Some studios don't. Some studios will like say we don't recommend that you work overtime or crunch. We don't want you to crunch. But if you elect to work overtime, then you may. So it's kind of like you
Yeah.
decide, choose your own adventure situation. That's what it was like at Santa Monica, and I liked that because um, I felt like I could really earn, not just earn my keep, but I don't know. It was Ragnarok's huge, and I wanted to work hard on it, so I did.
No, I can't wait to see the results. I know it's going to be
Me
amazing.
too.
You got Ryan
It's,
Hurst, aka Beta, playing Thor. I mean, come on, this is going to be awesome to see. Can't wait to see the
oh yeah.
gameplay.
I so
Um,
wish I could
oh,
talk to you guys more about Ragnarok, but maybe
don't
another
even
day.
worry about it. Don't you worry about it. This, we'll get to that when we get to that.
Yes,
We ain't worry about
we will
that
get
yet.
to it one day.
Oh yeah, we got y'all. We got y'all on the Ragnarok thing. Let's move on to the next question. On a scale of 1 to 10, how difficult is it being a VFX artist, and when it comes to working on AAA games to smaller indie titles, and why?
So, this first part of this question, it's hard to be a VFX artist. I mean, anything that's worth doing is difficult. I think the hardest thing about it is that it is both art and tech art, which is like messing with the stuff under the lid. Um, it would be like if I were designing a car, or no, I'm not gonna try to make a metaphor. This is not a good idea for me. Um, it's a lot of like math and art together,
Okay.
whereas jobs like concept artist are, I want to say more, but I don't want to take away the credit of those artists. But I want to say like 3D art, um, environment art. There's tech to it, but it's mostly visual work. And in effects, it's both, heavily both. It's never just one or the other. It's always math and art hand in hand, which is
Nah.
hilarious because I hated math when I was growing up, and now I'm like,
Yeah.
I can make art with math. This is amazing. Um, Second part of that question, uh, I did a little bit of effects when I was at Playful, so that's the only experience I can compare this to. But doing effects at an indie studio versus a large studio, they're they're not any, they're just different. They're not like
More
comparable.
resources, would you say? Like, is one
Yeah,
on one side?
so when I worked at Santa Monica, we had a team of effects artists with
Hmm.
like almost, I think, 15 people. We had 15 effects artists. But then when I worked at Playful, by the time I left, we had one effects artist.
Oh wow.
So like he did all of the effects. And whereas at Santa Monica, like we have a whole team of people to support each other. And but there's differences there too, because at Santa Monica we used a proprietary engine, whereas at Playful we used Unity and Unreal, and there's other kinds of support available for those engines, whereas proprietary, it's kind of like you can't Google a question. You got to ask an engineer.
Oh wow. See, there you guys
Mhm.
go. There you guys go firsthand how it's like over there at Sony Santa Monica. That's cool. That's really really cool. Now you answered the first part about this, so again, naturally, uh, which was, did you always see yourself wanting to be in the industry? I think you answered that.
I
So,
think in some way, as a child, I did. I loved video games as a kid. so much for so many reasons. One of them being that I have an older brother who's 7 years older than me.
Mhm.
So when I was a kid, he was already a teenager. So we kind of like the age gap was a little too much to sort of like naturally develop like a friendly
Yeah,
friendly
yeah.
sibling relationship. I felt very far removed from my brother, and I'm sure he felt far removed from me because he's a teenager and I was in elementary school. But we could play video games together, and that was huge for me because I really looked up to my brother and I wanted to be close with him. So I would watch him play video games or play video games with him, or he would trick me into thinking I was playing video games with him by plugging in my controller halfway. But nonetheless, it was I love video games for that reason, among many. Um, and I've always loved like fantasy, sci-fi lore, and building worlds and writing stories, and like that basically screams game development. That's what we do. We build. That's PlayStation's mottos. We build worlds.
Yeah.
And if I didn't know, maybe I didn't know what that was, I definitely still I recognize that that is the same feeling that I have right today as I pursue my career, continue my career.
All right. So the second part of that question was, if yes, how proud are you of your journey to where you are now?
So proud. I wish I could like go talk to myself as a child and be like, look at what we did, despite like the world falling down all around us. I'm very proud. If you had asked me this a year ago, I would have been like, I still can't process that this is real. I think it's just now hit me that I worked on Ragnarok, even though I physically was working on it like hours and hours every day. Um, I'm very proud. I worked really hard for this, and I feel like I'm finally at this point where I worked my ass off and like became exhausted sometimes, exhausted myself with work, and I'm finally reaping the benefits of it and
Right.
enjoying my career a different way rather than feeling like I'm fighting every day to be like a
Right.
better artist or be someone hireable.
Hmm.
I'm just working on my craft
Yeah,
and
you can breathe.
contributing art. Yeah, contributing like my passion and my art instead of being like, how do I like get the company to hire me full time?
Oh God! Somebody asked me that in the question. I think he retracted that, but he did ask, like, how do you get a job with PlayStation and whatnot? Pretty much what she just said. The same thing. Just, shoot your shot.
With PlayStation, you work really hard. You go, and I can recap this, or I can type this up later for you guys. But if you're like, I want to be a game developer, go download Unity or Unreal Engine and use Unity or Unreal's resources to learn how to build a game. And
Yeah.
just start there. Even if you manage to make something where it's like a guy picking up apples and dropping them in a bucket, and then the bucket says you get 1 point for every apple, that's amazing. Do that
There you go.
and email it to me so I can play it and be proud of you.
There you go. There you go. Uh, how did you feel when you got your first official job in the industry?
Oh, over the moon. I let me
Look at
just
she's
say
blushing. Look at she's right.
up until that point, I was working in fast food and the service industry and working my butt off because I was paying for school and paying for the roof over my head at the same time. And I felt like finally, I'm like I've got 1 foot out into my dream. Just even if it was just 1 foot,
Mhm.
I felt like anything was possible. Anything. Absolutely anything. And it is. If you love something enough, that much, this much, as much as I love being a game developer,
There you go.
you'll do it. You'll find a way.
There you go. There you go. This right here is about your experience. So, what was your favorite memories working with Sony Santa Monica, Playful, and of course Gearbox?
So for each one,
Hmm.
my favorite memory from Playful was wearing the lucky suit. So they
Oh
had like a
God.
big box suit, and I got to wear it a few times because I was one of the only people in the office that it would fit.
Wow.
I have pictures of that. I will totally share on Twitter. Um, for Gearbox, it was probably, oh my gosh, just the general fact that I made so many friends at Gearbox. Their culture over there is wonderful. But my favorite memory is probably the day. Was it the day after or the day of Borderlands 3 came out? And we had all of the game, oh my gosh, GameStops. I almost forgot the name. All the GameStops like around DFW or around Dallas, they were having the developers, like the Gearbox developers, come to the shops and sign copies of Borderlands 3 for people. And then they got to ask us questions and stuff. And getting to sit among the developers and talk about Borderlands when Borderlands was basically the series that inspired me to become a game developer was very magical and surreal. And like talking to people who love Borderlands and played my game, it was amazing. Santa Monica, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Santa Monica, it's when I started working at Santa Monica, or the whole time I worked there. That's the first job I've ever had in the game industry that was completely remote. So I didn't get to see or
the
meet
actual building.
most of my coworkers.
Yeah.
There were a couple of them that live around me, so I met them. So I'll just say probably seeing. Oh, okay, I have it. My favorite memory from Santa Monica Studio is seeing everyone's reaction when the trailer came out.
I figured that would be it. Yeah.
That blew me away. I have goosebumps right now just thinking about it. Just like seeing how like the effect that this project has on people's lives and their mood and their life and
creativity,
their like, and their own character development. Like I feel like when anyone plays God of War, like they feel that character development inside them. They're like, oh yes, don't be sorry, be better. Like there's something carrying with me the rest of my life and telling children. Like it was very inspiring, and it like gave at that point, like everyone at Santa Monica had worked so hard just to get that out the door. And from that point forward, it just felt like a rejuvenation. Like, yes, this is what we're doing this for. We're doing it for these people who love video games the way that we love video games. And it just means everything. Every time someone gets excited about a video game, a developer like does like a little happy dance or something. I certainly do.
Yeah, seeing you guys, I think you all showed off your Ragnarok t-shirts as well that day, and that was like the big epic reveal.
That was awesome. That was cool. That was the first time I really felt like part of. I truly felt part of something like bigger.
Like the
than
moment,
myself.
right?
Yeah. Oh, like bigger than I could have imagined. Like more people liked that picture than I have met in my entire life. This is wild, but that was really special too.
You really got into character. I remember I pulled up in one of your live streams. You were playing. I think you're fighting the last Valkyrie.
Yeah.
And you were struggling the last Valkyrie, and I'm like, "Come on, you got this." Then she goes to the other room and gets the little axe. I'm like, "Really, Rachel?" She goes.
I still have that. It's like up on my wall in my office.
Oh God.
Superpowers.
It's like it's enchanted. It's going to help me, and then she beats the damn Valkyrie like the second try. I'm like, okay, I just moved on.
It's imbued with the spirit of Kratos. I also have a bunch of like little Kratos trophies in my office. They're on the opposite side of my desk. Otherwise, I'd be like, look. But I've got like a big Kratos, and I've got like little Kratos, and
got a bunch of mementos. I see you. Shout out to Danny. He's in the chat. The awesome guy who did the promo video, Platform Live. What's up, brother? I see you.
Love it. I love that. I got chills looking at it. I was like, oh my gosh, that's like my career in like a little tiny little box. That's
yeah,
amazing.
he actually went into your Instagram. Was like, oh, she used to be in a band. I was like, oh, was she? She's like, yeah, she used to be in a band. She made this type of views. I was like, okay. And then he made it. I was like, oh, she'll love this. And I was like, and your reaction was super fast. You're like, can I share this? I'm like, I forgot to tell you it was copyright safe. So yeah, of course you can share that. Of course, that's yours. That's for you. Shout out to Danny
Well, I
in the
did.
chat.
Great job.
So, this is a little different. This is kind of related to the industry. Like, what are your thoughts on the industry now that we're heading towards services and whatnot? I know everything's
What
kind of being
specifically?
condensed into one thing.
I mean, like, there's so much about the industry. That's a very
Steep
generalized
question.
question. Okay, I'll tell you what I think that inspires very passionate thoughts in my head. I think microtransactions are a very bittersweet experience. As like a player, I hate them. As a game developer, I understand why they exist. But I remember when I first played Halo, the first one,
Yeah.
thinking like, wow, like I played Halo 1 from like start to finish in every difficulty mode like 50 times.
Oof.
I love that game. It was a wonderful game. And when I think about that now, I'm like, man, that was a very complete game. Like it had start to finish, there wasn't anything extra. It had a
Right.
wonderful story. It had really fun game mechanics. You could play with your friends, and like the music was epic.
Right.
It's just a great, well-rounded game, and you paid one fee and you got the whole game. And I think that the game industry should be like that. But again, we do live in like a weird capitalist dystopia.
Ooh.
Everything has to make money all the time to be
That too.
productive.
Yeah.
So I get it. And I think that there's ways that can be done responsibly. And I think that there are more ways that it's done irresponsibly and to the benefit of the studio and less to the player, which we make games for players. Like
Yeah.
we should respect our players.
Yeah, it's been a lot of weird, not necessarily vibes, right? Just been weird energy with a lot of people I've seen now. With Sony going towards the service route with games, and pretty much everybody having their own service to go to. Microsoft has Game Pass, Sony's revamping PS Plus.
It's like television streaming.
Pretty much, and to save money. That's it, to get the first party. And just like, no, I don't want this. They're losing money, and I'm like, are they? Like, are
Yeah,
they?
no.
Like, are they?
Sony, Microsoft, they have enough money. They have plenty. Everyone will always be playing games. And
You're going to love this, though. How do you feel about this? So do you say, hey, support the developers, Rachel. Hey, support Rachel. Support developers. And then when the games get confirmed to go to PC, oh, that's bad. I don't want that. Like,
are you asking what I think about that?
Yeah, what do you think about that?
As in like, what do I think about when exclusive games end
Yeah.
up going to PC?
Pretty much, yeah.
I think that it's. I feel like I don't know enough about the business side of game development to like understand why exclusives happen.
Okay.
But I think that I think it's fair that happens after a certain amount of time, because I have friends and I know developers and I have family members who prefer to play games at their desk or they prefer to play them on the couch. And
That's true, yeah.
like I'm not the type of person that's like, okay, I've been on my computer all day. I don't want to play any more computer games. Like I'm ready to go do something else. But I do understand when someone's like, I've been on the computer all day. I don't want to sit on my computer and play anymore. I'd rather go play on the couch on my PlayStation or Xbox.
Yeah.
But I think that when games are more available to players, despite what their preference is, I think that everybody wins. I think the developers win. I think that it's really cool that I have friends that even though they don't have a PlayStation or they can't afford a PlayStation or they
find one,
literally
yeah.
they focus on only having a PC,
Right.
that it's cool that they can enjoy that game too. And there were definitely a lot of people that was like, hey, I know you don't have a PlayStation, but I know you play PC, so you better be buying games that got on 2018.
Yeah, you were like super hyped for when you saw the spec leaks. I was like, oh god, here we go. Twitter's like in uproar for this one. And then Returnal, and I was actually happy for Returnal to go to PC, to be honest, because that's an awesome team over at Housemarque. I really appreciate the work they put into that game. And
Returnal has my favorite VFX.
Was it really? Because they were really cool. They were really cool. I had the audio engineer on there. His name is Rudolph on the
Yes,
channel.
I saw that show.
Yeah, he was really cool. And to hear their process of how they went about it, I was like, dude, I want a sequel to this as fast as possible. So if this green lights that sequel, hey, let it go. Just let it happen at that point. And that's what I need. I need that sequel. And obviously, we just got Spider-Man going, and obviously, Last of Us is probably next at this point. So, I mean, it's gonna be a good time for everybody in the industry.
Oh yeah.
So, there you go. Let's see. Okay, so this one right here, I know, obviously, Big Cloud is kind of a PlayStation-centric platform. So
I wore my PlayStation shirt today.
Hey.
It's actually the PlayStation women's shirt, so.
There you go.
I think it's got like Eloy and stuff on the back. I don't know.
What is he, Ellie? I see Ellie.
Probably.
Oh, Ratchet or Rivet and
It's got Rivet, Aloy, and Ellie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice. That's nice.
Anyway, PlayStation.
What's it like working? Well, what was it like? Sorry, working with PlayStation, and how would you describe the overall experience? And would you do it again?
I was really proud to work for PlayStation. I'm proud that I have worked for PlayStation. I'm proud of what I experienced internally at PlayStation, as the last chaotic 2 years of everyone's life has occurred, and how they approach those things, and how much they support their developers, as not just as people who make games or people who, keep the machine turning, but as human beings. And
okay.
I don't want to develop any more on that, but they are a wonderful company to work for, and I will happily have a PlayStation at any point in time in my life. Not just because of the quality, but because the quality of the project, but just the company itself. It's a wonderful place, and they really do care about their employees as people. And I would totally work for them again if I had the opportunity. But I'm working on a new opportunity right now.
Yeah, I know. We'll find out about that one soon. Hopefully, we'll see what's up with there. I'm curious though. I never asked you this, but would you ever want to work on a superhero game? I know you've seen the trend happening here with PlayStation with Spider-Man. We got Wolverine coming out probably in 2024. Doctor Strange, a lot of people have been asking for.
I would love that. I think it would be super awesome to do like effects for the Scarlet Witch. That would be super cool.
There you go. See, there you go. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you saw Doctor Strange, so you already know how epic that could be on a grand scale.
Yeah. That was a great movie. It was more like Scarlet Witch featuring Doctor Strange.
Yeah, it was like he wanted to make a horror film in the MCU, and I was like, you know what, I'm all for it, because that was awesome.
It slapped. It was great.
How do you feel about the ending though?
Yeah, the ending, man.
That was the only thing that threw me through a loop. I'm like, wait, what? So I guess we'll find out about that. But it was dope. Cool to see that. Now the movie I don't recommend right now is Jurassic Park. By the way, I don't recommend that.
You mean Jurassic World?
Oh yeah, Jurassic World. Yeah, sorry, the new one.
I was a bigger fan of the earlier movies. I think
the first one's good,
fun, but I probably won't watch it unless it's like on my Netflix stream. Like if it's like, hey,
like 2 years later.
Yeah, I'll be like, oh, I guess I'll watch that now.
Yeah, I think the series has run its course. I'd say that much. Let's see here. Where we at? Oh, that's a good question. So when you see the advancements in technology with the newer consoles, how excited are you for the future of console gaming? And basically what I mean is, obviously we see the jump from the PS4. These consoles are very accessible, very fast. You have inclusion of SSDs, faster for developers and whatnot. Plus, there's been this report going around. Now, obviously, I'm not going to ask you to clarify that, but there's been a rumor, so I'll just pull that out, use quotations. There's been this rumor that we're going to get pro units at some point, even though I'm pretty sure we will, probably by 2025. Yeah, like pro unit consoles. Yeah.
I have no idea. When I stopped working at PlayStation, I stopped learning about all the cool secret stuff.
Yeah.
So if there's anything that I learn about what's happening at PlayStation. It's through my friends who still work there.
There you
So
go.
that would be cool. The way I feel about it, I think that I don't know.
No?
It's I have I have mixed views on everything. Just because I'm a very
Really?
I want to understand both sides or all sides. But on one hand, it's very exciting because the more advanced the technology is, the more that we can do in
Right, the higher
games.
the ceiling.
Because
Yeah.
the difference between like being a developer or even just being an effects artist for video games versus for movies is that for movies, you don't really have limitations. You make your effect or whatever, you do your work, and then you render it, and then it goes in the movie, whenever, or TV show, or whatever.
Right.
When you're making games, making effects in games, those effects have to be running live, real time, which is also why you'll see it be called real time effects. And if they're running in real time, there's also other things going on. Like as a player, if you like experience lag, it's because something hasn't been balanced
Yeah.
that's running in real time. And if our technology becomes more powerful, then we can do more with it
Yeah.
all at once in real time.
We saw that with the
I
Last
mean,
of Us remake, guys. We went from CGI to an engine. There you go.
mhm.
Or in the graphics. Well, there you go. So, I mean, it's night and day.
Yeah, it
And
speaks for itself. On the other hand, though, sometimes, like what has occurred with VR, for example, I think
ah,
VR was definitely supposed to be much bigger than than it ended up being. I think that it was a technology ahead of its time
yeah.
situation. Like maybe in this generation and the next generation, we'll probably have more. Man, I don't
That's the
even want to say
pricing, you know what I mean? Like the pricing just has
that.
to get down to a point where everybody would buy it, like kind of like
That's the first step for
yeah,
sure.
I don't think like I'd be crazy if I say the price it got down to, let's say, the Wii. Remember the Wii was like $100, 150,
Oh
something
yeah.
like that. Yeah, I mean obviously everybody's gonna get a VR for that, but um, it has to get down though to a price that's reasonable. You know, you see all these
I
headsets. You
agree.
got some they're like 500, some were like 650 at the
Yeah,
time.
it's like the cost of an entire console.
Console, yeah, the last
Like
one
if I
was
had to pick
400.
between them,
Yeah,
obviously.
and then we got the new one,
And
which
that
is
I think that on one hand is something that I don't look forward not that I don't look forward to. It's something that I'm apprehensive about because while the development of VR and people playing like being able to play VR games in
right,
your home is amazing, but like the software development or the game development has not really caught up yet because of
right,
hardware restrictions, software
right,
restrictions,
yeah,
among so many other things. But I will admit, I think that VR or new technology like VR um, has a great shot with Gen Z because my nephew, who's like 12, every time I go visit him now, he's playing with his Oculus and he's
nah,
like
see,
sweating. And he plays with his friends, and it's like how we all played with our Game Boy Color, and it would get taken away by the teachers in school. Um, so there's hope there in the interest by the generation. Like maybe there will be Gen Z game developers who are like, I grew up with VR stuff, VR game sets, and I want to make more better, improved VR software and games.
yeah. I saw the Horizon. I guess the demo that we saw at the show, PlayStation show. It looked kind of like it was on rails, but obviously limited, obviously based on whatever they were
Yeah,
doing. You know, we had the set pieces, the Mega Jaw coming out, and I was like, okay, that's cool. I was looking at that, I was thinking, that kind of reminds me of Jurassic Park. Back
yeah.
in the day in the old arcades, y'all know you remember that those arcade
Yes.
machines.
Oh, like those big cabinets that
We
you
had
would
to
like
sit
get
in and then the
inside.
little curtain over.
Big,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, exactly. Remind me of that.
That
And that
reminded me of
and
that
that kind
too.
of made me wonder. I'm like, damn, VR kind of has a bright future because House of the Dead could be really. They can make that
Oh my
epic
gosh.
comeback. You
That's
think
like
about that?
that is like an arcade staple.
There
Like
you
if an
go.
arcade doesn't have House of the Dead, then it's not a
It's not
real
an
arcade.
arcade, you know. It's like Time Crashes. You need Time Crashes. You need House of the Dead, and you got to throw
Gallaudet.
Tekken. You got to definitely throw Tekken in there. For that, without that, it's not an arcade. Um, let's see here. Okay, so this is about now. How do you feel now that you're joining Activision Blizzard? Are you nervous? Are you giddy? Are you super excited? Or
so excited, and I wish I could say more, but that's all I can say.
That's okay. No,
I'm
we're fine.
thrilled. You know what? I'll tell you how I'm feeling about like being an employee there rather than like
Yeah. No,
our
you gotta say
projects
something.
or whatever.
Yeah. That's what I was asking you
It's,
about that. How you feel
yeah,
joining the
it's
company, not
amazing.
project.
It's amazing. Um, I I've had good experiences at all of the studios I've worked in. Of course, not everywhere is perfect,
Right.
but besides the fact that I think it's mostly besides the fact that I was a contractor, or because I was a contractor, that now I feel like I'm getting, or I get employee benefits I've never had before, and like I have health insurance that's not gonna go away because my contract ends or whatever. And of course, in the U.S., it's huge to have health insurance. It's amazing. I'm like, is this real? I get to go to the doctor and I don't have to like cut off my arm to pay for this. um, that the way that the the company benefits its employees, or how Activision Blizzard compensates its employees, I think, is extremely fair and almost too generous. I don't want to say that because maybe they'll take things away.
No.
No, they're very generous, and it makes me feel like they really do care about
Respect
us
your time.
making quality work, because our quality of life is better. The things that they provide to their employees.
Yeah, Microsoft, purchasing the company next year. That'll be finalized. So, I see a lot of morale getting boosted. Because certain decisions that's gonna be made. So that's great. I'm glad to see that that's happening. Good for you. And also, the quality was
Because
just
of that.
shown with Modern Warfare. We just saw the new Modern Warfare 2, and I was sitting there going, I was talking to Blaze about that, and I was like, Jesus Christ, look at the water. Like, look at the water fizzes. Holy hell.
And
It's funny.
water always, does it seem like we always like
We talk about the
mirror how
minuscule
often-
stuff, right? We like water, and then we talk about fishes. Last time like, we have fish that move. It was okay, yeah, we have fish in one segment that we don't see no
It's
more.
the little things. It's the little things that make us appreciate that development. Like if you see like water dripping from a pipe, and then you look
And
down and
naturally,
you
just
see it like splash on
realistically,
the ground.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. I agree.
that's an effect thing.
Look at her, she
But
just
yeah,
said
it's
it.
all those little details. They make all the difference.
And now you're going to be contributing to those details. That's going to be even
Hell
more
yes, I am. I'm going to be
hilarious.
contributing to all those details. I hope that I will from here on out. Not that you know what? I feel like I keep disqualifying my past experience, but from this point forward, I'm so determined to just grow.
There you go.
And I'm excited about it.
There you go.
I feel like I finally have the room and the resources. That's how Activision Blizzard makes me feel.
There you go. Y'all heard it here, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all heard it here. That's an interesting question, Sean. I'll answer that for sure. Says, do developers basically concern themselves with frames per second or FPS for games, or is it or is it an issue?
Oh yes, we totally do. For example, if my effects are too overperformant, or they're like too expensive, which is like if something makes the game run slow, we call it expensive. But if the work that I do is too expensive, then it will affect the frame rate. And
right.
Fidelity is everything right now. But I think everybody does. Every game developer does. They have to be concerned with how their work is affecting the project as a whole. So yeah.
Yeah.
All of us.
So
All
we
of
have
us are
those
looking at that frame rate.
stealth
We're like,
patches,
gotta delete something. It's 5 frames over.
Is that where the day one patches usually come into play too? I guess to iron out any of the bugs that we have too, because we have them every game, it feels like. And usually for every big AAA release from Sony, from their first party, they'll have like a huge software update for the console to help with it too. Even though I usually sometimes still get crashes when it happens. I don't know why. But
every single game will have a day one patch. Always.
No,
if they don't, then I need to go work for that company, because it's really difficult to nail down a project to a certain date. Like ask a painter if they're finished with a painting that they already sold, and they'd be like, well, there's like a few things more that I could have fixed. And that's just what it's like. And you know, you can't just throw developers at a project
Yeah.
and be like, more developers so the project will get finished faster. Sometimes I can make more problems, but yeah, always. There's always going to be day one patches, and always download them.
Yeah, I remember the thing with Rockstar. I don't even remember. Characters were like floating and spinning and stuff like that for Resident Evil 2. So yeah.
I remember playing what was it? Of course, Skyrim. It was a DLC for Skyrim where you could like go back to Morrowind, and I would go into buildings and like there would be no floor, and you would just fall through.
You just fall through.
Yeah, and then the like Xbox would just totally crash, and it was awful. But it was because I didn't download my patches. Always download those patches.
Oh man. What's your most anticipated game for this year? You know, we had the State of Play. I know you got Ragnarok. You just got done, you know, working on and whatnot. But I'm going to throw some games at you here. We got Callisto Protocol. We got Resident Evil 4 Remake. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, you know, there's some options out there, Rachel. Some good options.
I like watching other people watching other people play Resident Evil. I love horror genre stuff, but I can't, for some reason, I just like freeze up if I become scared while I'm playing video games.
We need to see a stream of you playing Resident Evil. Maybe Resident Evil Village gets you the VR headset. You know, we got the VR coming for that. That's what we need. That's gonna be some memes.
There's
you frozen.
I don't know if there's anyone listening who played Village, but there is a tribute to PT, Silent Hills PT in Village, and it's the scariest part of the whole game in my
involves a baby. Right,
yeah, big one. It's me. I'm the big baby. But no, the game that I am anticipating the most this year is Stray.
Really? The Jim Ryan, the game that everybody's calling the Jim Ryan experience, because you know everybody talking about he loves his cats. I'm like,
oh yeah, I love animals. I'm actually really allergic to cats, but I have one long-haired cat that doesn't bother me. I actually have 5 animals. My house is like a zoo.
Yeah, that's why I commented. Somebody calls you the bird lady. I was like, wait, who's the bird lady? I was like, wait, where'd that come from? The bird lady.
Oh, I love my birds. They're like little clowns. One of them kind of acts like Woodstock from Peanuts, where he'll like do things upside down and backwards, and it's hilarious.
Aw.
Yeah, but no, I'm excited about it because, I don't. It's first of all, I love animals, but secondly, it seems like a very different take on sci-fi that I think has been done before. There's plenty of games where you can like play from an animal's point of view, but I'm anticipating some sci-fi themes and like mechanics that are totally new and interesting, and I'm excited about that.
Okay.
Cat with a backpack. How can you not be excited about that?
Oh God, you know I was hyped for Cyberpunk. That was the game I was hyped for. Unfortunately, that game didn't. It didn't work at launch. Unfortunately, shout out to the team.
Yeah, it was unfortunate. Yeah. Very unfortunate. I actually just watched my boyfriend Michael play a bunch of it, and it still looks very good. And like some of the bugs are still there.
They're still there, yeah. I played it not too long ago.
There aren't any progression bugs, I don't think, anymore. But there are times when you're like, wow, this is really intense, and then all of a sudden, like, someone's, like, trying to walk across a room, like, all morose, and they're, like, all jacked up and, like, doing the robot.
See, mine happened early in the game. One particular one, it happened live on stream. It's hilarious. Like, I'm walking through the door, and the big guy walks I guess he was supposed to walk past the lockers, but like his body phases into the lockers, and the lockers start to expand and they blow up. I'm like, did I just see that? Like the whole stream just went crazy. I'm like, did I just see that? Like what just happened to this game? And I was thinking the game was gonna crash, but it didn't.
Cyberpunk.
Ugh.
Those devs did a good job. I think that they did a good job. I think they were just unfairly rushed.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. You can't rush certain games like that. Like, for example, Alien Isolation. I would hate to see what that game would look like if it was rushed. Let's see here. Another good question from the chat. So which game style are you most comfortable with or prefer for development? Hack and slash, stealth, action, etc. Good question.
Well, I've only developed, I think, four types of games. So
Action adventure.
I did a puzzle platformer.
Mm-hmm.
I did with Super Lucky's Tale, Borderlands 3, which is like a loot and shoot first-person shooter, and then Ragnarok, which you guys know
Action
what God of
adventure
War
and
combat is like.
yeah.
I think I like adventure games the most. If I could, like that puzzle platformer felt like could be an adventure game. I think it would be more fun work on an adventure style game. Like I feel like I kind of missed out a little bit working. Like I left Gearbox before Tiny Tina's Wonderlands development really ramped up.
Yeah.
That would have been awesome. But I don't know. It doesn't the mechanics of the game or the genre of the game doesn't affect what I do a whole lot because I make effects. Like if a block falls down, I do a dust poof. If like a new weapon is developed, then I do like the ballistics for it.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
But I think of the ones that I've worked on, probably I hate to say this, but I think I probably would have enjoyed I probably would have enjoyed making effects on like Borderlands more than Ragnarok. And that's not because I didn't like the project. I loved working on that project. But it's because of my personal preference. I like working on like cartoony, stylized stuff, and God of War is very realistic. It was a fun challenge that I enjoy. But I'm very, as you can see, I like colors and bright colors and flamboyant textures and stuff like that. And I would love to make more effects in those styles.
Oh man, okay. How do you feel looking back on your 5 years, your 5-year anniversary within this industry?
Unbelievable. In disbelief. I can't believe it's been 5 years. It doesn't feel like that long. What's kind of funny is technically if you've been in the industry for 5 years, you're considered, that's like the bare minimum for considering yourself a veteran. And I don't feel like one at all. But the sad reason for that, the sad reason for the 5 years part is that most people get into the game industry, and because it's like too hard to keep a job or too hard to like stay in, they just leave. So like it's like the the minimum lifetime of a game developer is 5 years. So from here on out, the hard part's over, I guess.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
Now you're in cruise control, I guess, at this point.
Yeah, exactly. I can just go on cruise control and make art.
There you go. Kelsey says, what games has your favorite use of VFX?
Returnal, for sure.
Returnal, okay.
And Breath of the Wild, which is funny because Breath of the Wild effects, like those beautiful, like fluffy explosions and clouds and stuff, are used as effects references for lots and lots and lots and lots of studios. Like Breath of the Wild is sort of like a benchmark for great stylized effects in the game industry. And I love that game so much. And the effects in there are beautiful. But right now, like my all-time favorite, definitely Returnal. They did a fantastic job with those creepy tentacles that like reach for your character.
Oh yeah. The
very
nightmarish
seamless
creatures.
and it's fluid. That's beautiful.
Yeah, they made every death scene. That's like the first time ever where you die. It actually feels like an experience by itself because you get all the little flashbacks.
Yeah. Or even when you teleport, like when you hit those little teleport pads and you
little
like
sparkles.
dissolve.
Yeah.
So cool. Love that.
There you go.
They
Shout out
do
to
that
how
in
smart.
God of War, actually.
Oh,
In
yeah.
the first, and then in 2018, yeah, they do. I think.
Was it for
only
the
instance
tree? I think the teleporting tree. I think that's what it was, right? I forgot what it's called.
I can't remember. The one that I know of is when you do I think it's Muspelheim.
Yeah.
When you do the big mountain of trials.
Yeah.
And they have that giant sword that's like stabbed into the earth.
Yeah.
When you like put your hands on it to like start the challenge, and then you accept
and
it,
and everything just like kind of wafts off. Yeah.
Yeah, it does that dissolve effect, and that effect is one of my favorite effects in all of games. It's very, very cool.
I thought the other one was your favorite effect when, like, when you throw the axe, you call it back, and then the ice breaks.
Okay, so when I first played God of War 2018, and I started learning the tutorial to like throw the axe and catch it. I did that. Like I sat there and threw the axe and caught it for like 10 minutes just to look at the effects. I was like, this is so cool. This is amazing. I get very excited about little things like that. I guess I'm in the right profession, right?
Okay. Still on the God of War kind of topic here. How do you feel knowing that you contributed to not one, but two of the most anticipated games of their respective year with God of War and God of War Ragnarok?
I didn't actually work on God of War 2018. I wish I had so bad. I do wish I had.
Yeah, I think you joined around. I was like, okay, maybe she's.
I joined Santa Monica Studio a year ago.
Yeah.
It was right before the trailer came out. But yeah, working on one of the most anticipated games of the year, it's a lot of stress, a lot of pressure, and unbelievable to my like 10-year-old self, because I used to watch my brother play God of War. I wasn't supposed to because my parents were like, this game is very violent and sexual. So I would like sneak up there and watch him hack and slash, and I loved it. It was so fun. I remember as like a 14-year-old, I played I think God of War 3 for the like front to end, and I loved the experience. It was super cool. It's a little I'm in a little bit of disbelief still that I worked on something that I like looked up, that was part of my culture as a kid.
Right.
That I like looked up to. It's crazy, high pressure, but very exciting.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. There you go.
I hope I didn't let anybody down. That's how it is.
Nah, we see in the game. We ain't let down. We ain't let down. How do you feel about everything you've seen and experienced within the industry within these 5 years?
I'm proud of the game industry. Obviously there are crazy, not provocative. I want to say provocative, crazy stuff going on. I mean, like my first day at Gearbox was when the news broke that Randy Pitchford was in a lawsuit, or his ex legal counsel was like in a lawsuit with him, and everyone at Gearbox was like, we swear it's not like this here. But like we aren't constantly in legal battles with people, but I'm both proud and like kind of I guess humbled maybe by the industry. I'm proud of the industry because even when things like that come up, it appears first that people take responsibility, or studios take responsibility for any I don't know why I can't think of a word for this. Setbacks?
Mm-hmm.
There's the word controversies. That's the word I'm thinking of. Despite the controversies, that they take responsibility, and having been now part of a studio now that is in a current controversy and a lawsuit with the state of California, even so, in my experience firsthand as a new employee who just had to go through tons of onboarding training and like alcohol abuse, sexual harassment training, I'm really proud of the strides that they've taken to take responsibility for what happened and what that means for women in the industry, or women who love games, and or even like the support of Black Lives Matter by Santa Monica Studios, truly respectful. And anytime anything like that, any controversy happens, whether it be with human rights or with executives being greedy or whatever, there are always moves to improve, and that's the best that you can ask for, I think. And there's a lot of solidarity there was a lot of solidarity at my experience at Santa Monica when controversies would happen. They would be like, hey, we know it's like, I guess, what happened? There was some controversy where, dude, I can't remember. It must have been because with Activision Blizzard.
Oh, with the with the crazy allegation, with the reports. Yeah.
But there was a time, can't remember what the day was specifically, but our bosses, our producers, and then Jim Ryan like even emailed us and they were like, if you need, like, if this is affecting you, if it's affecting your mental health, your emotional health, and like your comfort with working today, then please take the day off. Like, that's fine, and it would be like a paid day off even for the contractors. And it was just like, it's okay, like, talk to us about it. And I hope that if that things like that happened here, that everyone would talk to us about it. And that's what it's been like at Activision Blizzard as well. So
Okay.
it's been good. I'm glad that I could talk about this now, because I've always wanted to. You know, I can't just put on blast out there like, hey, these guys aren't assholes. They're doing better. There isn't a great way to like just say that, but I'm confidently saying that now as in my experience. I don't want to discount anyone else's experience, but
yeah,
in my experience, that is what it's been like.
Yeah, I expect things to get even better once the unionization is complete, starting next year. At this point, with the acquisition.
About that.
Yeah,
especially for people like contractors.
Well, not just that though, like you just said, morale, but also I just think through unionization and them actually putting better practices in play, I can see, I can actually see love, you know what I mean, in the games this time around versus how I felt prior, you know what I mean? Because it felt like it really, well, I mean, a lot of people can say it feels like, but it also kind of, it's obvious you can see that a lot of games were built with one thing in mind, not necessarily the player. It's how much we can get out of the player, if that makes sense. You know, to monetize them for the most part.
Yeah, well, of course. Like I said, we live in a capitalist
But it was like, it was egregious. I remember you had to pay for announcers in Call of Duty. You know what I mean? They had Snoop Dogg, they had the Gunnery Sergeant, rest in peace, R.M. We had stuff like that. And now...
That is totally one of the ways that I think the game industry is being irresponsible with their relationship, or being irresponsible with microtransactions. I think there are better ways to do that. But yeah, it does seem egregious. It seems like way too much, and I don't think that you should ever have to pay to do anything but have like cosmetic addition after you've bought the game.
Exactly.
Like, you've already bought the game. You've already spent your money.
Weapons shouldn't be locked behind this. It should be you get everything you bought, and then you're good to go. Yeah, sure. Why not throw a few extras for those who probably bought, let's say, the collectors? You know what I mean? That's fine, but it shouldn't be as egregious to where it's locking them completely and where you're forced to buy this just to get a weapon that's OP. I don't know if you remember the Ripper from Call of Duty Ghost. Remember that gun that like transforms on the wheel?
Excuse me. I remember... So, I mean, I'll never forget all of the controversy over Star Wars Battlefront.
Battlefront.
That was really honest. I was really proud of gamers when that happened. I was like, yes, this is how you like move with making a difference. And I hope that EA learned their lesson when that happened. I can't imagine that it would be instantaneous, but as a developer, I don't agree with those kinds of like almost predatory practices of microtransactions.
Yeah, well, you basically have to pay just to level up. Nah, that's
that's
not how it should be.
You know, that like I feel like up to a point, even with customization, like should be part of the game. Like, you already paid for it.
Yeah,
you already paid for it. Period. Full stop.
Hey, at least we got the diorama mode.
At least I got this one skin that no one else has and no one will see after I stop playing this game in a year.
I mean, to be fair, I do see them on a better kind of... I've seen them in a better light now after playing the masterpiece, which was Jedi Fallen Order. And now we got Jedi Survivor, so we got those to look forward to. And those actually were really, really well done.
I'm excited for those.
No,
for sure.
I'm excited for Star Wars in general. We got that. We got got Quantic Dreams making one. We have other studios making. So you have a lot of variety in Star Wars. And you got The Mandalorian, which might make a game debut. Who knows?
Amazing. I would love to work on a Mandalorian video game.
Oh, yeah. Let's see here. Let me go back here. Okay. This is actually pretty straightforward. I think you kind of answered this, but how would you describe the process of how games are made? How much easier is it with the newer consoles compared to the previous?
I can speak confidently on this because I have used both very old game development setup and the new ones. The new ones. So I guess 20 years ago, to make video games, people would like work in a 3D program, and then they would like they would build the game in there and then build it on a dev kit, which is just like a big old, not an old, it's basically a game console, but it's specifically made for like developing a game rather than just playing it. And that was laborsome. I experienced that previously, and it was very laborsome. I felt like I was spending more time like building the project I was working on than actually making content, and that was frustrating. But with engines now like Unreal and Unity, and there are others, but speaking specifically on like the biggest, most prominent ones, I feel like development is much, much faster and more streamlined.
Yeah.
I mean, that's true of technology just in general. So
Yeah, we saw that with the. I mean, you talked about earlier, somebody building a car and then dropping in the world and then driving it. But we also saw that with the, I think it's called the Nanite engine. That was like the first engine we saw on the PS5, where they showcased the pixels and everything for the statues, stuff like that. And like he was talking about how they can just take pictures and drop them in there, and then they'll basically like I guess attach. Yeah, that you put them on there. So yeah,
it's cool because it's cool that it's more powerful. We get we're able to focus more on the content rather than making the content work. Like we can focus on making something look beautiful rather than how do I get this to function in the game engine.
Yeah. So I guess we got to see this. What was it? The Matrix. I think it was the Matrix demo. Was that on Unreal Engine 5? If I remember correctly, the Matrix demo.
The Matrix preview. It was like a little
thing?
vertical slice.
Yeah.
Demonstration. Matrix demonstration.
Yeah, but it was like very open in terms of what you can like move the camera and everything. I've seen somebody actually create Spider-Man with this engine too, which was funny.
Oh, that too. That was so cool.
Yeah, obviously it was rough. It wasn't finished, but it looked pretty damn good. I was like, okay, that's
all game development looks rough until the day that it's supposed to be on a shelf. Supposed to be.
Gotcha. Let's see here. All right, so that's all the main questions. I got like 3 bonus. And this right here is for you personally. What is Rachel's favorite film? And what's her favorite film genre? There you go.
My favorite film and my favorite film drama? Is that what you said?
Genre.
My favorite film. That's really difficult. On any given day, I like something different. I would say generally the first thing that comes to mind is Ex Machina with Oscar Isaac and oh my gosh, I forgot her name. The actress that did she was in Tomb Raider. She was Lara Croft.
Angelina Jolie?
Not her. The more recent one. The one that
the new one. Yeah.
Yeah. Ex Machina for so many reasons. Just like the design, the like framing of all of the scenes, the use of light and color is really cool, and just the fact that it's about something sci-fi. It's about an AI, and it's inspiring. If I ever like think I want to make something that's beautiful but almost kind of unsettling, that Ex Machina is.
Alicia Vikander. That's her.
Yes, that's it. She's awesome. It's crazy the way that she convinces you that she's like part robot. Like her movement in that, her performance in it is really, really great. My favorite film genre. Oh, that's difficult. I would probably also say sci-fi, but I also really love horror movies and thriller movies. I like feeling scared but knowing that I'm safe. I think that being able to just inspire emotions in other people is really powerful, but the emotion of fear is so powerful that I really respect when that effect is pulled off and I can feel scared sitting on the couch in my house. I think that's really fascinating. Which is funny because I don't like to play horror games. I'll watch other people play them. I love watching other people play horror games, but playing them myself is tough.
I'm saying we got the quarry. Why not you play that for a stream, huh? No?
I think if I were to play a horror game, like just stream a horror game by myself, it might be like, I guess I did film, or I streamed The Forest, but that's a little different because it's not just horror. It's a survival crafting game. But if it had to be any game, it probably would be, I want to say Alien Isolation, just because.
Oh, so she's going at the heartstrings.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of my favorite games of all time. We need a sequel to that, but we never got it. I don't think we'll ever will, unfortunately. Well,
You know, fun fact, probably not so fun fact, for every video game that is published, there's probably like 10 that never got to see the light of day.
really?
So I've worked on, I don't know why I just thought of this, but I thought it would be an interesting tidbit of information for you guys. Is that I've probably worked on, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold on. Let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've worked on 8 projects, and only 2 of them right now are published. One of them is going to be published, and then one of them is the one I'm working on right now. But yeah, of the like 8 projects, 2 of them are published and like are viable. That is what the game industry is like. I worked on several projects at Playful, and only one of them got published.
Wow.
That's game dev.
There you guys go. We might see some surprises down the road. There you go. I'll just leave it at that. What was well, really, what's the best part about working within the gaming industry?
Oh, making something that inspires other people. I also want to say the friends that I make in the game industry, just because, you know, I'm obviously very passionate about what I do, and I love it, and I have like a deep love for game development and building worlds and writing stories and like providing experiences for people in worlds that would otherwise not exist. That's amazing. But being passionate about those things and meeting other people who are passionate about the same things, but they're, you know, wildly different personalities, they make for pretty amazing friends. And I would credit probably half of my career achievements to the community that I've built among game developers that I've worked with. Networking is huge. The game industry is actually really small. So it's kind of like if you've worked at least 2 studios, you know quite a bit of people in the industry. But they make it's a good, wonderful community.
All right, there you go. Well, the last question, well, ironically, was kind of related to the movie thing, but I think I know the answer to this question. I was going to ask, what's your favorite TV show? I think I know the answer to this.
Man, okay.
The Boys. That's my.
Yes.
I know.
I love The Boys so much. I love the gratuitous violence and the ridiculous profanity and this like the psychoticness of Homelander is just I hate Homelander so much, but I respect Anthony Starr so much for like performing
Playing
a
that
character
character.
that is so dislikable. Like I think that is more impressive than playing a character that's likable. And I love every character on that show. There isn't one character that I'm like, you're the worst. I'm like, you're the worst, but I also like love you because you're just ridiculous. But yeah, but totally, I would say that or Futurama.
Futurama.
I've seen like every episode of Futurama probably 5 times each minimum. Like if you like recite a line or show me a meme, I'll like know what episode it's from. Sometimes I even know the name of the episode.
Okay, so you know the name of that. So you know the name of this one. What was it? What did he say? Take them to the snoo chambers.
Oh my gosh, it's called Amazonian Women in the Mood.
There you go.
I think.
Yeah, she got it. She got it. What's the one with the mermaid?
The one with the mermaids. That's the one where they
Like
go
with
to
Fry.
Atlanta.
Yeah, it's like
right?
Atlanta.
And
Yeah,
in Fry.
Atlanta. Yeah.
I can't remember what it's called, but I remember what happens. They're going fishing. They end up in the, like underwater, and then they have to go outside in like under the water, and they take suppositories that are like this big, and they put them up their butts so they can breathe water or breathe air. Yeah, breathe water.
Yeah.
Fry like hooks up with a mermaid and then runs away because
You know,
she
can't have
doesn't
kids.
have human like,
So she said
Yeah.
she lays her eggs, you fertilize, he dipped.
Yeah. Oh, I leave the room. What?
Oh God, what was the other one? There was the other one with the I think it was called Klopkla. What's called Klopkla? It was the one where you're on Zoidberg's planet or something like that.
Oh, where
You know, though he had like his dream girlfriend, and like she
Yeah.
tried to hook up with Fry. There was like a battle of the
and
tough.
then I had a piece of toast.
Like, will you shut up?
Yes. And then they have an orgy and everybody dies. And then so
Yeah,
everybody's
Fry has
well,
like the funniest monologue ever. He's like, so you have to choose between a life without sex and a gruesome death. Tough call.
Yes. Yeah, see, that show's great. It holds up for me at least. I love it.
I think he's coming back. Zoidberg. I think he said not Zoidberg. Bender. He said he was going to come back for another season.
Futurama is coming back. I don't know if it's for a movie or like one final season or something, but I'm stoked.
Oh yeah.
Love Joe DiMaggio.
What's I about to do here? Let me go here. Okay. Sorry, I had to make sure I had everything. So, well, Rachel, the last question. This is the closing question, but obviously we're out of the main questions. So first, I'm gonna say, always a pleasure to talk to you. Shout out to
Thank you.
everybody who came through. Awesome show. Episode 193, RGD Podcast, featuring the lovely Rachel. Appreciate you very, very much. Everything you do for this industry, everything you've done for me personally as well. Really do appreciate all the advice. And yeah, I do. I really do. This is great. I knew this was going to be a fun conversation. I know you were giddy waiting up to this today, so you already know how it is. So to close the show, could you please tell the chat on a scale of 1 to 10 how much fun you had on the show? And can we possibly see you again down the road?
I would say a perfect 10, and absolutely you will see me down the road when I'm allowed to talk about projects that I've worked on. Wink, wink.
Uh-oh.
When I'm allowed.
There you
You
go.
hear me, Sony? When I said I'm allowed.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, Sony, yeah, we're good. 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 We're very, very
Totally,
good.
I'll be back.
Shout out to
no doubt
everybody.
about it.
Oh yeah. I know you had the YouTube channel. I think I saw you comment on them a while ago, like when I first put the tweet up. I don't see the comment. But do you use that YouTube channel by any chance?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Okay.
Sometimes I'll probably use it more, and I'll probably be streaming more now that I'm not working on Ragnarok anymore.
I say, yeah. Why don't you take those streams from Twitch, move them over to YouTube? There's an idea for it. There you go. Well, guys, if you guys want to follow, obviously, Rachel here, I'll have everything in the description below on the Twitter, as well as her Twitch. You guys can check her out there, as well as her website, where you can check out her awesome portfolio. And who knows, maybe this interview will make her awesome page. I don't know, maybe not. We'll see.
Duh. Of course.
Shout out to
Got
you.
I need more content.
Shout out to everybody who came through, though, man. It was just fun. I see you guys, man. I appreciate everybody who came through. Awesome. It was an awesome week, man. We had Summer Games Fest. We still got events happening, so I know everybody's all over the place. And we got the Xbox Showcase tomorrow, so it's a good time to be a gamer. It's an exciting time to be a gamer, and
Great time to be a
obviously,
gamer.
this was the perfect way to end this awesome week, at least for me personally, as we go into Microsoft's show tomorrow. So you guys want to join me tomorrow? I'll be streaming that, and I appreciate everybody who joined us. Rachel, you already know it's all love here. Appreciate you always coming through, and appreciate you for all the support. And we
Thanks
will
for
see
watching,
you.
guys. Thanks for listening.
Oh
I'll
yeah,
be back.
you heard her. Ladies and gentlemen, hit that like button, and me and Rachel will see you on the next one.
Bye, guys.